Hello, 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 and welcome to ozfortress Hero League Season 1. You're joining us for the Week 2 game between Nocturnal Nightmares and No Kids here. My name is Bren, and I'm joined today by Avril. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, Bran? Really excited for my official debut on Heroes League TV. You might have heard me earlier in the week if you caught up with ESL. Um, but this is what we're here for, Heroes League, and I'm really excited about Heroes League moving forward.
All right, so there's two teams that we're going to be watching today. Um, One of the sides is pretty comfortably set in stone when it's in the TF2 league, particularly Highlander. They've been around for a while. The other team is fairly new. They're a newly formed team, but it should be a reasonably close game between them, from what we've been told. So we should be expecting some closeness. As these are fairly new teams in Overwatch, we don't know too much about them. I'm not going to prompt you any questions. I'm going to ask you a pretty general, vague question about Kings Row as a map. That is the first map that we're going to be watching.
Sure.
Um, so a few teams they like to run Symmetra on defense. They like to change it up. I mean, what would you say is really the optimal in this current meta for one hero limit?
So what I've been seeing lately is Symmetra's falling out of flavor for most teams. Most of the actual top teams, in this side of the world anyway, are starting to phase out Symmetra. And
Mhm.
that's not to say we don't see Symmetry anymore at all, but certainly a lot less. I think teams are more opting to just um, put in the Lucio instead. And I think the key difference is Lucio just allows your team to directly fight so much more optimally than Symmetra does. Symmetra is great for if you lose a fight and people need to get back in very quickly with teleports, or maybe not just that, but even if you're losing members slowly, if you're just getting picked off, it's good to get people in quickly to contest.
Right.
I think if you're playing a Lucio in your team instead of a Symmetry, going for much more of an all-in type of defense where you don't have that safety net of, yeah, we're just going to get our players to trickle back in. It's we're going to win it here. We're going to hold this defense, and we're going to take the fight to you essentially because we have a Lucio. We can speed boost as well. We got the extra heals.
Yeah.
We're just going to sustain ourselves on point and not die versus we're going to die and come back to point with teleport.
Okay. What's your opinion on basically only running the one support? So running just the Mercy is generally the standard, apart from cough maps. Um, what's your opinion on things like these teams? They're running triple tank setups and whatnot.
Um, I always felt like the game would eventually move to a one support lineup, just
Hmm.
because I feel the better teams get, the higher the skill cap gets, and the more the
Yeah.
individual skill starts to show. Having the extra damage really pushes your team's capabilities a lot more than having the extra support does. If you really consider it, what an extra support does is it allows you to sustain better, lets you heal up a better, gives you a bit better utility in some ways. Most people, if you're going to drop a support, you're going to drop the Lucio support. So what are you really losing here? You're losing the AoE heal and you're losing the sound barrier, which, to be fair, it's kind of a rare ultimate anyway. It comes up very rarely. But what you're
Yeah.
really losing as the biggest thing is you're losing the speed boost. But what are you gaining by losing those things? Is you're getting the extra damage, you're getting the extra. Um, if you're going to choose a tank, you're getting the extra utility through the tank abilities, whether that be a hook from Roadhog, the shield from Zaya, or a Winston bubble, and just a Winston initiation. And I think the reason we might be seeing more DPSs and more tanks and dropping that support is just as I said, as the skill caps get higher and this player skill um, starts to impact the game a lot more. Having your skilled players on heroes which impact the game through damage is going to be have a much bigger impact than um, having those same players try and make impact through sustain.
Hmm.
So if you can just kill the enemy team, why would you need to try and out sustain them? You're not trying to outlive their damage, you can just kill them faster because you have more damage to start with.
Yeah. No, I'm in pretty much complete agreement with that. It really is showing like it's moving and shifting that way, especially as
Mm.
we see these teams basically. Um, is kind of odd. To the beginning of it, you see them playing sort of these not low skill ceiling roles, but not especially high ones, and it's more moving towards now a good fairer player. I'm just going to point this out.
Mhm.
Can absolutely destroy, and it's absolutely huge impact. If your fairer player is better than their fairer player, and they've got no one who can play hit scan, like you're just gonna melt, to be honest. And we were saying that the other day, to be honest. Who was it on fairer? It's completely lost off the top of my mind. But no, there was one player that was just absolutely destroying, and there's just this reluctantness to move to hit scan roles after the McCree and Widow nerfs, which is a bit bizarre in my opinion.
I think I definitely think Fair is one of the key components of the current one hero limit meta.
Yeah.
Farah is she really just brings everything you need to the table. Farah's got really good damage. It's actually AoE damage as well, so that adds bonus. The ultimate is extremely powerful, does a lot of damage, I'm sure you know, but it's actually a really good combo with the Zarya ulti as well. So, a lot of teams, if you want to run a black hole, you need the damage to go along with the black hole, otherwise it doesn't really give you what you want. And Pharah so happens to be one of the best, if not the best, in my opinion, damage combo to go with Zarya, the other ones being the Tracer Pulse Bomb and the Reaper Death Blossom. But those two, I think, are a little bit... Tracer's just less seen in the meta all up, and Reaper's a bit more risky. You actually have to walk in there and be in the middle of them. I think Pharah can just do it safely. And what else does Pharah give? Well, Pharah also gives you the flank abilities and all that kind of stuff as well, and being able to get around the enemy team and having damage boosted AoE damage from long range. I mean, the damage doesn't fall off either, it's just, it brings a lot to the table.
Yeah. Okay, so as we are rolling through King's Row now, I believe the video should be playing around about now. What would you say is a decent time for King's Row as it currently stands?
A decent time? Well, a decent time, I think you really want to get sub 6 minutes, and here we go. The teams are going to start sitting up here, and I mentioned this in a previous cast I did over the weekend, but the way I look at King's Row and any of these sort of push maps is the first point is always semi-favored for the attacking team. The last point is kind of favored for the defending team. So really the attacking team, it's really important for the attacking team to get a really good offense straight away on the first point. The second point is sort of even for both teams, and it really has to do with I think spawn locations. I think the first point is really the most important point for attackers to really get under control. And the last point, with the spawn distances is in favor of the defending team. So I think 6 minutes is sort of the time that I think is a reasonable time. And if you want to start rolling, under 4 minutes would be a very, very difficult time to contest. And I think from 8 minutes onwards is a bit slow.
Yeah. So really quickly, as these teams are rolling out, anything that stands out to you straight away is unusual?
Not quite yet, but actually, red team's going to go in pretty quickly here. They just want to speed straight in. No team really contesting clock tower, which is something that the really high level teams do. Is they play players on the clock tower side, and you're not really seeing it right here though.
Oh, all right. Now we did see Pixie was putting in some excellent AoE damage from above there and completely just halted this entire attacking force. They have got a nice hit onto Nance, but he's not going to be bringing him down. And the counter flank by Peace as well has brought down 2 players now with the help of Kieran. And now they have just completely cleaned them up. Absolutely demolishing them, flanking them on that left side.
It's going to be a very, very... that was a very powerful attack. And, excellently secured by No Kids here. I think Nocturnal and Nightmares will be not very pleased with that level of defense. I mean, getting the attack, getting the point off the first attack is extremely good for the attackers, but it'll do something to the morale of the defenders here, knowing that they gave it up so quickly.
Alright, Kieran's trying to take a little 1v1 on the flank there while the team are contesting in the main roads. Peace has managed to finish off Sancho there, so that is one DPS down for them. Pixie still trying his hardest to really hold on to this defense, but Kieran's hitting some fat air shots onto him. The Mercy actually going down as well to Peace, so that's an absolutely critical pickup now. So that is no heals for them, no resurrection as well, so the attacking team now, they're just happy to roll straight in, Admiral. And they've already bring down Pixie, they brought down Noxic, the sound barrier being popped for the defensive team, but it's too late. They've dropped so many players. Whole Hog is also going to be coming out now to try and zone them out, but really at what cost? The cart is almost pushed, it's so close to being capped. Spawners have just come in, but we're going to have to take a little bit of a reset here.
Yeah, I think Nocturnal Nightmares, I mean, they played on the flank. You had the Reaper on the flank with, I believe, the Pharaoh as well. And they got the first pick off, then they got the Mercy, and that was a really big pick off that really won them the fight. Not having the Wiki, not having the ability to res means they can't sustain themselves into that fight. And here we go, the second point's going to go down pretty quickly as well. Nocturnal Nightmares doing a really good job of taking both points.
Yeah, they've already brought down Wiki. Earth Shatter comes out to counter Earth Shatter as well. Connects onto Free. Can they get the damage? Barraged by Pixie. He's going to try and clean him up, but he's actually picked up two players as well. Sancho and Tiki going down. Noxic on the back lines. Has managed to get a few frags here. He's got two, in fact. Kieran Ambrose being down. But the car is being pushed so hard now. The res has finally come out as Wiki has just respawned. It's only a single res. So they can reset here, yeah. I mean, they only got it up onto the two players, but Max Payne, he still has his res available.
I don't think No Kids here really taking advantage of the resurrections just yet. The Mercy keeps dying very early on, and that's probably a case of the Mercy just being caught out, and also Nocturnal Nightmares just doing a really good job of picking up the Mercy player. You're going to see Kieran and Max Payne going to take control of this perch area on the top here. This is a really important point to control, and I think Wiki's actually stuck. I think Wiki's actually going to go down here.
Oh, there's a three-man black hole. Can they do anything with it? That's the question. The damage coming up by Kieran. He's managed to get one frag. Wiki also falling, so that's no heals for him. It's just Swirling and Tiki and Pixie left alive. They're trying their hardest. Pixie is flying above, trying to get that AoE damage to try and contest it. Death Blossom being popped as well. The concussion blast has knocked a few of them off, but it's not going to matter anyway. That was a brilliant time.
It was absolutely brilliant time. We're going to take a look at what that time was, but I don't know if you saw there, but Kieran went in with the concussive blast. You might actually see in the game, the play of the game, if it's the one I think of here. It's not the one I think of here, but he actually used a concussive blast to knock Wiki off the map, and Wiki was just sort of floating around at the bottom there, trying to get back in, but immediately knocked Wiki out of the map, and out of the match, really. And once again, not having that Mercy there, not having the resurrection, and their team just being picked apart. And I was saying that perch area, that upper roof area, is really important to control. No Kids here are also running a Pharaoh in the name of Pixie, and your goal as defense is you really need to take control of that roof area as well. It's a really critical part, and this is why you're running two Pharaohs. You're running a Pharaoh on each team because you need to take control of those high point advantages, and it just didn't happen for No Kids here.
It's like we said beforehand about Pharaoh being one of the most high impact heroes. If you have a good Pharaoh and you cannot contest her with either hit scan or your own Pharaoh indeed, you're going to have troubles at the end of the day, and it definitely showed. That was an absolutely rapid time.
3 minutes, I believe. 3 minutes and 19. I did say anything under 4 minutes is pretty much a roll. And when you have an attack of 3 minutes, anything close to 3 minutes, you basically got every single point within 1 minute, which means you basically won every push that you had. If you consider that roughly, and this isn't like, this isn't strict, but if you consider that one push is something like roughly a minute or less, depending on how quickly you push and how quickly you stabilize again, they won every single push. In fact, I don't believe Nocturnal Nightmares lost any of their pushes there, as far as I can remember.
No, they really just rolled deep. Even the first entry push, which usually most teams will fail, and they only really use it to build up their own ultimates. They just rolled them deep. They took control of the left side, and now we see the teams have switched sides now. They're going to be running some pretty defensive heroes, I should say. Symmetra being ran, Junkrat as well. Junkrat's quite powerful here. You can spam that angle quite well. So it's interesting to see No Kids here. They know they have to really defend this first point, and that's the only chance they're ever going to have of really getting this map, because a 3 minute 19-second round is it's actually insane.
It's crazy. You have to win. You have to, in order to do this, you know, you kind of almost have to hold a point completely. It's 3 minutes is just kind of ridiculous. 3 minutes means that No Kids here have to, once again, like Nocturnal Nightmares did for them, they have to win every single push, no mistakes, and keep the momentum going. If they lose a single push here, I think it might be GG.
Well, they're going to take the fight straight to them. The big wraparound as they're trying to basically get the flank in, but the team is there to help them out. No Kids have got them completely caught in this wraparound alley area. This is an absolute masterful choke point now for Kieran to get in some damage. Pete picks up Pixie as well. It's really only 2 left alive now. Swirling, he's going to try and get out alive, really. He's trying to build up his resurrection, but his positioning is nowhere near where he needs to be, and Kieran is going to be finishing him up and punishing him for it. Wiki also trying to put the damage in. Sancho lad on the point has managed to bring down Kieran, so that is 1 frag for them, and he's drawn a few of the players back from the No Kids Here side, and now this has created a little room to breathe now for his team as they're looking to try and contest off this, but
No Kids,
so far so good.
No Kids actually look like they're... What was the point I was going to hear? Where are we looking at? I'm not too sure about that movie push. I mean, I think they could have realistically just gone straight in. They do have a the Reaper. They have a Zarya as well for the shield. They could have really just taken the fight straight to Nocturnal Nightmares. Instead, they wanted to go for the wraparound push through the alley, and I think it was a bit costly. I think Nocturnal Nightmares actually did the right thing and took the fight to them there and cornered them
absolutely
in the alley and picked the players off.
Yeah, and we did what a hook onto Wiki as well. Wiki is going to concussion blast away and get a shield put on him, so he is going to be getting away a happy little chappy at the end of the day. But really, it's these Reinhardts just holding the line. Wiki trying to basically contest from mid-air as well. Both these Pharahs just putting in a lot of damage. Barra's actually going to be falling out on the No Kids Here side, and they're just waiting for their ultimates now. Look at this attacking side. Look at the ultimate advantage they've got. They've almost got the Zarya ult. And here comes the Earth Shatter as well by No Kids Here. Straight to Noxic, the pin as well to finish him up. Prize Manus just absolutely destroying him in the end. Ho-Ho going to be popped off as well as Peace looks to try and take some bodies in that what is it, like a hotel? I don't know. But
that's the movie theater.
The movie theater. Yeah, He's putting in some solid damage there. And Kieran with the 2k, Swirling, Pixie falling as well. The support's just falling to pieces here. Kieran's going to be popping off the rocket barrage. Noxic doesn't stand a chance. Wiki also going to be popping off his, but he gets completely destroyed. And there is 1 minute remaining for these teams to try and push this now.
I think it's really it. I think 1 minute remaining. That's actually 1 minute remaining for the entire map and not just for this point. And, you know, you need 1 minute per point almost to push. So 1 minute remaining basically means it has been GG. Like I said earlier, in order to match 3 minutes and 19 seconds, you have to win every single push, take every single point, almost no contest, or very minimal contest.
Well, this is it, the Graviton Surge being popped as well. It's on to 2. Nox is going to be trying to get the damage in, swinging and miss Peace with the hook as well, but he's not really getting the damage in. But yeah, as you were mentioning, sorry for interrupting, but yeah, it is pretty much GG.
Well, you know, knowing that it's GG, I'll just quickly say, you know, a couple of things about No Kids Here. When Nocturnal Nightmares are actually going to hold forward in that gate area, the correct play for going up the correct offense against a very close hole like that is actually to take a movies push. When you take a movies push, you can actually go around the other team. And yeah, it is game now. I don't know if the teams realize that maybe they're just going to play through, but
game.
I have a sort of feeling that Nocturnal Nightmares is somewhat outclassing No Kids Here. No Kids Here just really... It might be a team thing where the team coordination just isn't there, but it's also possibly just a player skill thing as well. And I think Nocturnal Nightmares just really have it on, really have that advantage against No Kids Here in almost all regards from what I can tell so far.
So, yeah, I don't know whether these teams want to play it to the end or if they want to wait until, you know, if they want to just jump straight into the second map, which is going to be Route 66. I'm going to leave that. Yeah. So you still get points as well, so we're going to be playing on now. So yeah, if they can get the cap, they can secure maybe some points for the league system and try and get into the playoffs with that. But right now, they're just getting absolutely torn to pieces by No Kids Here.
Yeah, actually, I think they're just going to play it out all through the defense. I'd like for them to just move on to the map, though, if they do cap anyway, but 30-something seconds left, and I think...
Yeah. Oh, Kieran. Good God, man. Yeah, there are points to be still won if they do manage to get the cap, so that is the reason they're still playing on. But right now, this offense, the soundbar is going to be popped off by the side of Nocturnal Nightmares, but we're really not going to be getting anything out of it. Bros with the tire as well, picks up Tiki Goddess. Kieran uses Barrage to just pick up Pixie, and a fat midi as well to finish off Wiki as well. So they are really just taking them to the pound town, to be honest, Avril.
Yeah, I think these teams really do need to start thinking about the next map, Route 66, I believe. Correct in thinking that.
Yeah, that's going to be game anyway for the first map. So
3-0, I believe.
a complete wish-wash, to be honest. Yeah, complete wish-wash.
Once again, you're going to
I'll
see the
take a look,
Pharaohs in
yeah.
play here. I think Pharaoh is actually going to be another really strong pick for the next map as well. Another map where there's a lot of aerial control is pretty dominant in the game, is really key to the game, especially the second point.
Fat.
The area control is something that's going to be really important, and getting the flanks as well through the air is going to be really important on the second map as well. So I expect both teams to continue playing Pharaohs throughout the next map as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to Nocturnal Nightmares to just basically run a hit scan class just to deal with Kieran, because Kieran has been an absolute force to be reckoned with this game.
I mean, the current meta almost forces you to run both Pharah and Soldier. You have to run the Pharah on a lot of maps because of the abilities that Pharah, just what Pharah brings to the table, really. And then you have to run a Soldier to counter the Pharah. So two of the key classes really just end up being Soldier and Pharah, and a lot of the compositions get rounded up by Reaper as well. So Pharah, Soldier, Reaper with your standard supports and a tank seems to be more or less a standard lineup, and then you sort of throw around a couple of different types of picks in there. You might chuck in a Roadhog in there if you're feeling like it, or you might chuck in a Winston as well, depending on the situations that you get that are brought to you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even though Widow has fallen out of favour a bit, I still think she can be very viable. If you can hit your heads, she can put out some insane damage. That being said, it's Pharah, so the hitboxes it can be quite difficult, quite tricky to hit.
On the note of Widow though, this is a map that is somewhat favoured for Widow. There's not many maps left that where Widows are still sort of seen on, but if you are going to see a Widow, this is probably the map you're going to see Widow on. I think first point especially is not too bad for the Widow at all. And Roadhog is actually a pretty popular pick on this. I expect both teams to be possibly running. I'd say they both should be running a Pharah, but I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be definitely Soldiers as well, and they might put a Flex on the Roadhog, which has been pretty popular.
Yeah. Well, we are going to be rolling into Route 66 now, and as a map is pretty standard in the way most teams play it, holding up on that Big Earl's petrol station. Most teams, I mean, Avril, would you say a Lucio on defense is pretty common just because of the initiation factor?
Well, you can't really run. Symmetra's not really run on this map at all. I think
Lucio.
Yeah, the reason you want to run Lucio is because you're not going to run Symmetra.
Right.
And so that's kind of where I was leading into, and the Lucio here is, so yeah, definitely for the counter push, but it's more so because you don't have the option to run the other supports. You're not going to run a Torbjorn either, really. So Lucio is kind of the default here, and I think for most points you kind of do want to run a Lucio anyway. Like I said, the way the meta is going, the better you are as a team, I think the more so you want to actually run a Lucio. And even the lower teams are starting to pick up on that, and they're thinking, no, well, maybe we want to do the same as well with that strat. But the counter engage is, I think for this, because of how open this point is, if you look at this compared to something like King's Royal, where it's actually, I think, quite closed off, this is so open that I think Lucio definitely is a strong pick on both sides here, and is also the reason why Symmetra is not very good.
So you're going to see Kieran on his fabled Pharah role. I basically I'm just calling him an absolute god now on Pharah. That's a thing. That's going to be his main from now on. But
good aim.
Sancho Lad
Very good
is
aim.
playing. Good aim. Sancho Lad on Soldier, which is what they needed. To be honest, they needed a hit scan class to bring him down.
Running a Diva here, I think.
Yeah, and the Diva as well, which is that E ability
to
destroy the projectiles.
I think on defense as well, it is very different. Interesting what happens here. Ooh. Sancho there's Kieran the god making his first sacrifice there. Good god indeed. There's a Pharah flank coming from the sidelines. He's probably going to open up some plays for the rest of his team. I think he's actually going in a little bit early. The cut isn't really that pushed off. if if Nocturnal Nightmares wants to actually right now, they can probably re-engage. Not anymore because they've
Destroyed
just been picked apart.
completely. Swirling, yeah, Swirling got completely caught out of position there in that garage area. Swing and a miss. Prize Manus picks up a 3k. What in God's name is happening? They're rolling deep. This is going to be the first point uncontested.
What in Kieran's name is happening really is more bodies to sacrifice to the god that Kieran is right now. First point, once again, this is a very similar showing we saw the last map. Taking the first point, almost no competition, rolling straight through, getting a few picks very early. I'm not liking the D.Va on defense here at all. I don't think D.Va really offers anything on defense. If you were going to run it on offense, I would say maybe you have something to use there, but on defense, not really happening. Tiki Goddess going to take him down as well. Kieran's going to take another flank. Let's see if he gets some more kills.
This is so bizarre now. Earthshatter's going to be popped off by Prize Manus. He's managed to get the ping onto Noxic as well. So Noxic is most likely going to be falling in the end. Kieran, barrage in the end from the back lines, picks up the 3k onto... Oh my god, he's destroying. He's absolutely crushing. I was trying to say then, but like, I did not like the hold whatsoever that Nocturnal Nightmares were doing.
Here's one thing I'm noticing. Here's one thing I'm really seeing here is our no kids here are kind of, and it's working for them. They're playing in a sort of way that disrespects the enemy team's defense, and I think it's because of the fact that they're just outclassing Nocturnal Nightmares so badly
as well.
Right now.
Like, teams never hold that close when they're trying to defend the second point, ever. You never see it, and they just got absolutely crushed because of it. It was so easy to flank around them. Noxic's going to be popping off the Earth Shatter. Does manage to get a ping onto Prize Manus. The team, they are trying to contest this. The Resurrection finally going to be popped off by No Kids here. They're looking to contest it to the best of their abilities. The shield's going to be on Prize Manus as well, as he's swinging Kieran in the back lines as well. Putting in some solid damage. Wiki going to be falling now. Pixie trying his hardest to try and contest in the back lines, but he's being absolutely demolished. Kieran picks up Swirling as well. Self-destruct sequence popped off by Pixie. He's not going to be able to pick up any frags, however, and this fight is still kicking off, but it's looking more favourable so far, Avril, to the No Kids here side.
Well, I mean, look at this. No Kids here still have the majority ults here. They have majority ults in the terms that they have 2 ults to 0 ults on the side of Nocturnal Nightmares. Yeah. They're actually still keeping the D.Va here, which I don't think is still, once again, not doing that much. And, you know, No Kids here are sort of playing in the sort of way where they don't even have to really... they're kind of playing... This is going to sound bizarre, but Nocturnal Nightmares is playing kind of uncoordinated in the sense that Kieran is actually going in without his team. Their tank is charging in really deep, but it's working simply because they're out-skilling Nocturnal Nightmares so badly at the moment. Here we go. There's another kill. Kieran takes on Central Lad. He seems to be always the first one going down in a lot of these fights. And if history will repeat itself, Tiki Goddess might be the second one to go down, but it won't be Swirling will be taken down by Peace.
Wow, Nox is going to pop off his Earth Shatter. Yeah, he's managed to bring down 2. As well as that, they're trying to put in the barrage in the end. Kieran picks up 1 kill. Max Payne actually the one to bring down Wiki of all people. And they are just rolling deep here, Avril. They're only 2 players up. They're trying to defend this. Sancho Lad trying to basically, he's got to contest this for his team now. He's got to try and buy some time, and we may start to see some Tracer and D.Va spam, but here comes the Graviton Surge. It's connected onto 3. It's just keeping them in place for the damage to come in. Noxic Shield doing a bloody good job of trying to defend them off now, and this is looking like a pretty sound defense so far by Nocturnal Nightmares. They're going to be beating off the Earth Shatter. Prize Manus with the charge as well. Is going to be cleaning up Pixie, but the damage is far too strong on the side of the No Kids here, as they are just absolutely destroying them. Kieran picks up the 2k. The Resurrection being popped off. It's a bit of a reset we're seeing here now, so this could be the chance to come back from it. The ultimate's going to be popped off now as well. Swirling does not have his resurrection for a very long time here, but Max Payne does. So that really No Kids here can afford to take any fight they so wish here. They can just feed into them, and they can pretty much just resurrect any time. Kieran's going to be popping off the barrage as well, picks up a 2k. This is looking very, very strong so far.
Even with the defense, you know, you're seeing, regardless, I mean, you brought back 4 players. You basically have a 10-man defense. 10 players on defense, and you're still not able to beat 6 players on the other team.
Oh, wow. Didn't have to use the res.
No kids there. No kids here, really, you know, saying, well, this is not a kids game, and we're going to smash you pretty soundly. What was the time? 4:42. So once again, I was saying it's not the sub 4 minute attack. But I think Route 66 is a bit of a bigger map anyway, so 4:42 is, once again, I don't think they lost any fights. So once again, they took another offense where they didn't really lose any fights. They got every single push. I think they were delayed a bit by that resurrection. They were delayed a bit at the end of the second point as well. But otherwise, bit of a steamroll through. I'm not going to say that it's clean because it wasn't. It was a bit chaotic. It wasn't the cleanest offense coming out from No Kids here. And it doesn't really matter though. It doesn't even really matter that it's not clean because it's still just working. And once again, probably because they're just outskilling
I mean,
Nocturnal
I pin it down to that second hold. Like, them losing first was pretty unfortunate. But when that happens, when you get wiped like that, when you get absolutely crushed, you got to just reset. You got to take a breath, take a breather. Just don't even contest first. You've got to hold on the bridge on that second point, and they did not do that. They dribbled in one at a time with a few players and fed at the end of the day.
But I think, you know, for Nocturnal Nightmares here, if you're losing like that, you really have to start consolidating your ultimates.
Yeah.
They're still trickling ultimates, and it's not like you don't get them, because even if you're on the losing team, maybe you get wiped on the first point. By the second point, you should have some ultimates up by then, and you're not actually seeing them coordinate the ultimates properly. For somehow, no kids here are just always at an ultimate advantage, and you know, half of the reason for that is because they're getting kills, and kills feeds into your ultimates. But the other half is because Nocturnal Nightmares is throwing away ults, and they're not actually saving them to coordinate together, and that's partly the reason why they're not winning the fights. So, you know, my biggest piece of advice for them would be to start consolidating your ultimates together, particularly for pushing because you're not just going to get steamrolled through, you're going to be fighting into a wall of sorts. You're allowed to fail pushes, you're allowed to make a push, die, fail that push, but save your ultimate so that you can have something to combo with for the next push.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty standard defense so far. I'd imagine they're just going to be holding up the big girls as the clock is counting down now. The teams are going to start to get released from their prison.
I think it really takes 3 pushes. If you don't win your first push, you're going to sacrifice on your second push to save ultimates, and then you're going to use everything on your third push. So we'll see how it goes here. We'll see if Kieran can just have some more dinner here, or whether you know, Nocturnal Nightmares will actually bring the fight to the table and show no kids here that kids can play games too.
So this is really smart here. We didn't see this from the side of Nocturnal Nightmare when they were defending, just holding up onto the big girls until it's time to push in already.
Sancho always the first one down.
It's ridiculous. Peace managed to pick up that one frag. Pixie falling to Kieran as well, so that's one frag for them. The hook by Peace as well, connecting onto the Tiki Goddess. And really, Kieran just causing absolute havoc from behind. They are not doing anything to stop him. Swirling's almost very dead as well. Indeed, Wiki going to be the one to fall. And this fight has gone absolutely terribly so far.
Well, what do we got here? We have a resurrection up for Swirlin. And Hammer's not too far away from Nox. Like, I think if you start saving a couple of ults together, what you really want here is save your Hammer to maybe use with your Pharah's Barrage, or maybe your Tracer's Pulse Bomb, and you might have a fight up here. Tiki God is still a bit too far away from ults, but you're really... so this is going to be push number 2. This is the push that you're going to lose.
They're just going to zone them out here. Yeah, look at this. They popped off the tactical visor and they can't do anything about it. They're having to wrap around here, but they're stuck in this choke point now.
That's really good for Nocturnal Nightmares.
And
it could give them everything they need.
Hopefully, indeed. But Noxic is basically holding very close here. He's going to be trying to basically push them back. Pixie also putting in a lot of spam onto that shield, but Swirlin's died again. Peace is picking up player after player. Earthshatter coming out by Nox now. It's only connected onto Prize Man as Peace with the hook as well is going to absolutely destroy him. Sancho Lad killed himself somehow. I don't know how that happened, but at the same time, Pixie is the only man really putting in damage from above here. Sound barrier also going to be popped off now for No Kids here, and that's going to be the one to finish up Pixie. And it's looking pretty bad so far for Nocturnal Nightmare.
Slightly average sound barrier, so they got that going for them. They need to just sacrifice all their players here because they have ults starting to come up online. Swirlin's got an ult, Pixie's got an ult, and Wiki's got an ult. If they use all 3 together, they might be able to get something. Swirlin's going to go for a res here. Don't know how effective that's actually going to be, but No Kids here are holding pretty fort. If they went through mines now, if they went for a big mines push, they might be able to get behind the defense of No Kids here. And I think
this is just no respect. This is just no respect at all. Pixie's going to pop off his barrage, but Peace has just destroyed him. That forward hold there, like, you do not see teams do that whatsoever. They usually just go back, they show some respect, they get back onto the big hills. But look at this now. Earthshatter's popped out by Noxic. He's got 2 man down. Can his team follow up on it? He's trying to put the damage into that garage area. Swing and a miss, really. He's not picking up anyone as he's actually going to be falling to Prize Manus now. And it's a last-ditch effort. There's only 1 minute, 54 seconds left on the timer for them to try and push into this. Peace has finished up Sancho Lad again. Really not having a good game so far. Pixie's going to be jumping in ahead. He's got the shield on him, so he can afford to put in some damage and get a bit aggressive, but ultimately, they're going to have to reset again here, Avril.
They're going to have to reset again, and they're actually really, really running out of time here. They have 3 ultimates up. They have the Black Hole, and they have the Pulse Bomb. This is their chance to actually get a combo off and not just waste their ultimates. You saw Pixie actually just use an ultimate for nothing. This is the kind of problems I'm talking about. Pixie actually goes down in here. Sound Barrier's going to come down. Are they going to do the Black Hole? They need to use their Black Hole and make something happen here. Sancho Lord is going to take a bit of damage here. Both ultimates still up.
This isn't great at all. Tiki has finally popped up the Black Hole, the Graviton Surge, I should say, but it's all for naught. It's all for naught. It's all for naught. The team just died far too early in that engagement. They got completely split up. There was time and time again, there was opportunity for an absolutely sickening Graviton Surge to come off. Everyone's had their ultimates available. They had the Resurrection. They had absolutely everything working out for them, and they squandered it. There's no other way to say it. They squandered this.
So, you know, the key mistakes coming out here are A, not comboing your ultimates together, and B, I'm seeing, like, not really good focusing from players as well. Central is going for the flank. He's going for players that are not the same players as the other DPS is going for. Nat's going to take down Noxic here. Pixie going to try for something, but going to get swiftly shot down.
This isn't great whatsoever. Prize Manus is swinging a miss. He has brought down Central Lad, and that's brought down Wiki as well. Kieran onto Pixie. It's an absolute destruction, to be honest. This should be illegal. Kieran's on the back lines. He's managed to finish up Swirling. They cannot do a thing. He's absolutely crushing. Tiki doesn't even realise that Kieran's on his head, and he's going to be bringing him down straight away.
They also don't have
Earth Shatter as well, being popped off by Prize Manus. But this is game, surely. 2-1. That's it. It's game. That is GG. That's the
dominant display by No Kids here. I think Nocturnal Nightmares really have to get back together and watch over their games, watch over this game, definitely, in fact, and just consider the team play issues coming into here. They're going to go for a last-ditch push here. Prize Man is going to pick up the first kill there.
At this point, they're literally just playing for the points here, Avril. They're just, if they can just try and get the cap, they can at least earn 1 point.
I want to say that No Kids here haven't really been tested this game. And I think against a much better team, the mistakes from No Kids here would have been a lot more apparent. I mean, I saw the mistakes here, but they weren't punished by Nocturnal Nightmares. And I think it's, you know, being the better team that they are against Nocturnal Nightmares, they won't be punished, perhaps. And probably half the reason they're playing the way they are, with the kind of, I mean, I guess it is disrespect, but also they know what they're capable of, and they know they can get away with making plays like this. But definitely against a much better team, these would be considered possibly quite costly mistakes that'll lose you the game. So, good showing of skill, individual skill, definitely from players like Kieran, but from No Kids here in general. And I think Nocturnal Nightmares are going to have to go away from this with a few lessons to learn.
I mean, speaking from experience, when you do roll a team as badly as that, you get complacent, you make mistakes, you get sloppy. So I mean, I wouldn't pin this. They make mistakes. I'm not arguing with that, but I think against a better team, I can definitely see No Kids here definitely stepping it up, and you can see that they're a group of gamers, they're a group of guys who have played together for 6 or 7 seasons in TF2. You can definitely see the chemistry, and I'm excited to see how far they can go, to be honest.
Yeah, I like to see, you know, week 3 of Heroes League, and I think week 3 is really where the teams, in terms of the matches, I think start evening up. You saw week 1 was a bit of a roll. Week 2 still is getting a bit closer, but week 3 onwards, 3, 4, maybe 5, you're going to start seeing teams evening up really nicely, and I think our biggest games are yet to come. Our biggest matches still yet to come. No Kids here, not tested today, but be sure they will be tested next week.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, I believe that is our last game for the evening if you're in Australia, or the morning if you're in the UK like me.
Good morning.
Yeah. Next week is going to be an entirely different set of maps. I believe it's Ilios and... help me out. Hollywood. Hollywood is the other map. Yeah. So... Ilias and Hollywood going to be the week 3 maps. All throughout next week, we're hoping to cover as many games as possible, especially the closer ones. And the games are going to be much closer next week, so you got a lot to look forward to. Give the channel a follow. You know, you can follow myself on Twitter, even Avril or Brodogs here. All of our Twitter handles are in the title as well. With that being said, I think it's going to be a good night. Twitter.com/ozfortress as well. I was supposed to shout out.
At
There you are.
ozfortress, there it is.
Yeah. Anything you wanna say, Avril, to send us off?
Other than thanks for waking up early for this. Really appreciate the. I know this is quite a bit of difference in time zones for you, and this being an Australian tournament must throw time-wise you off a little bit. I've certainly never had to wake up early in the morning to do a cast before, and I know it's not the easiest thing to do. So props to you for joining us, and looking forward to some more action next week. Hopefully, some more casts with you, and otherwise,
Absolutely.
yeah, enjoyable experience. Thank you very much.